This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Warehouse.
Welcome to far north Queensland, where it's officially snake season. After an opening round loss, you can guarantee Adam Ford's Cairns Taipans will come out with some real venom. Tonight, they welcome Southeast Melbourne up north, aiming to stop highlight machine Tyler Cook.
Tyler Cook slams it down and wants to tell Alex Sarr all about it.
MVP candidate Mitch Creek. And former Cairns coach Mike Kelly. Can the Phoenix escape from the snake pit with a win? We're about to find out. The second leg of our Thursday night NBL doubleheader takes us to Cairns for the Taipans and the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. The visitors and their captain Mitch Creek are prepared for a hot encounter, as are the local fans, with plenty rolling into the Cairns Convention Centre, hoping that their team can open up with a win after seeing plenty of them en route to the playoffs last season. We open things up here at the Snake Pit by taking a look at our Mitsubishi Motors ladder. Brisbane 2-0 after a win against New Zealand. The Taipans losers to the Breakers last week. Southeast Melbourne splitting their opening weekend of games at 1-1. Joel Peterson with you here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Great to have your company alongside Ryan Brockhoff and Pete Hawley. Pete, promises a lot this game.
Excited for this one because the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix looked excellent in that second half versus the Wildcats. It's a tough road trip up to Cairns. I know it might not seem like it, but Rowdy can attest to it. It is tough. A lot of teams go up there and fall short of the way they like to play to their capabilities. The Phoenix want to continue to be on a roll, and the Cairns Taipans, they're still undermanned, but they bring back a couple of pieces, still trying to get the key to their whole offense going when Taron Armstrong, when he comes back. But I'm expecting a bounce-back performance in front of their home fans.
And another big performance, hopefully, Rowdy, from this man. Patrick Miller was very good on debut, and he's showing why they were so keen to get him in their lineup.
Yeah, he stuffed the stat sheet against New Zealand, and look, he's a physical presence, and I know firsthand, having the privilege of playing with him what seems like a lifetime ago over in Europe, but his ability to get downhill, he's as strong as an ox, and he's so quick, he's lightning quick, he's hard to stay in front of. So his ability to get into the paint, create for himself and create for others is going to be really important for Cairns to put up a score to keep up with the Phoenix tonight.
They started opening weekend well. They just couldn't get the job done against the Breakers. Speaking of strong as an ox, Pete, Sam Menenga, he's a big boy and he put in a big performance over in New Zealand.
Well, if you think that Patrick Miller's obsessed with the weight room, this man right here, you can't get him out of the weight room, just loves lifting iron. And look, he's an exciting prospect, still a rookie. Didn't go back to Davidson for his senior year. Adam Ford brought him in to Cairns Taipans, and I'm expecting big things from him. He's only going to continue to get better and better. Great touch, can step out, shoot the three, and a big season ahead for the rookie.
And he'll be a big part of that man's lineup, the reigning coach of the year, Adam Ford, who's done such a great job in the last few seasons with this Cairns Taipans group. He's going to have his hounds full tonight, Rowdy, because he's going to stop the highlight machine from Southeast Melbourne, Tyler Cook. You saw him in person a couple of times last week. He was so good. He burst onto the scene at the NBL Blitz, and he stayed right at the forefront, right in the spotlight last week in opening weekend.
Yeah, lucky enough to be courtside for both of those games. And look, since he stepped off the plane, he has been a highlight machine. He has produced his ability to create plays, his size, strength, athleticism, and his ability to put the ball on the floor for a big guy and get past you. It's a hard combination to stop. And as we see from some highlights coming up, his ability to get on the rim and finish and make those plays that change the momentum. Look at this one. I'm not going to talk. There's very few people in the world that can do that, and I love the attitude that he brings along with it. So expecting a big game for him tonight, and Cairns have got their hands full.
So an 11-point win against the Wildcats is what Southeast Melbourne bring you to this. They got that man back, Gary Brown, Pete, for that game. He makes such a difference to their lineup.
Oh, he does, and you can see that he set up a couple of those highlight plays from Tyler Cook, and he's a facilitator for the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. He is their engine room. He's going to lead that charge on the offensive end. Ben Eyre is more of a scoring threat. He's not as much of a facilitator as Gary Brown, but they need him to continue to grow his minutes. Only played 13 minutes, and if they want to compete for a title, he needs to have a huge part in that.
And of course, Mike Kelly, the coach of Southeast Melbourne this season, his first year in the job. He spent 3 seasons at Cairns. He took them to the playoffs in 2020 when he was the coach of the year. He was removed from that position in 2021. The man who took over his job is the current coach of the Taipans in Adam Ford. And Mike Kelly just surveying things before he gets going tonight. The Taipans, we will see a new face for them as well in Josh Roberts, their import big man who comes into the lineup. He brings some real excitement, Pete.
Well, he adds more depth as well, what they needed last week. I mean, they were playing against the Breakers, but no McCall, no Armstrong, no Roberts, just another piece that they can slowly get back. And it's interesting, Adam Ford, talking to him, he expects them to start to get their gear together after they come back from America and play those NBA games.
Here's their starting five. So Miller, May and Wardenberg, Kuol and Menenga. It's a pretty big lineup, Rowdy.
It is, and I look forward to seeing the two big Kiwis play together. I really like the way they play off each other. They both can step out, shoot the ball, facilitate, and 4-5 pick and rolls between the two. Who's drawing those up? But they're beautiful.
And again, they hang the hat on the defensive end, and it wasn't there last week. And you can hear Adam Ford in the press conference knows that too many players are getting beat off the dribble. Bull Quoll was underdone. He's still got to get his game fitness up and about. They're only going to be as good of a defensive team as Bull Quoll leads them. Everyone else is going to follow, but he is their engine room defensively.
Underdone's a good word for Taipans at the moment. South East Melbourne starting lineup, so there is no Craig Moller. He's out with a virus, so Matt Kenyon steps into the starting five alongside Mitch Creek. Tyler Cook's out there, Ben Eyre and Will Cummings. We know that Ben Eyre, he's also a familiar face to this Cairns crowd, Rowdy. He returns up north, but they've got some real juice in that starting five.
Yeah, and expect Ben to come out and be aggressive and put on show like he has in the first two games. His energy and his belief in himself. He's not afraid to take the big shot. He's not afraid of getting up in people's faces and challenging people. So he's set for a big game, but I really like their balance. Kenyon coming back after his injury during the preseason, adding more of a defensive presence to that lineup.
It's going to be interesting to see how they try and guard Mitch Creek or Tyler Cook, because I know Menenga is that big body. He's going to try and bang down low. Mitch Creek has the agility advantage over either one of those two, but we know Cairns like to junk things up. Are they going to throw some double teams? They're going to trust it one-on-one. This is a game where Adam Ford is just looking down his bench, being desperate that Jim McCall was available, because McCall loves that, going to Mitch Creek, whoever that he needs to go. McCall put his hand up to guard Tyler Cook if he had to. That's just the kind of player he was. But I'm excited for this because the Cairns crowd get up and about. They've got a lot to be excited about with the youth on this team, and let's see how they respond.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about the next star, Bobby Clintman, of course, who's shown some real flashes. And speaking of Taj McCall being available, he's going to be available to us a little bit later on in the broadcast as well. We'll have a chat to him and see how his recovery's going. He's got a bit happening in his life at the moment.
Does.
Has Taj McCall, so we'll catch up with him as we go throughout the evening. Matt Kenyon getting set for a start. This South East Melbourne team 1-1 in their opening weekend, and the Taipans return home after starting with an 11-point loss to the New Zealand Breakers on their opening clash of this NBL24 season. Start of the Hungry Jacks NBL as far as Far North Queensland's concerned. The snake pit is full and ready to rumble. Sam Wardenberg and Tyler Cook to tip us off. Each time these two teams played last season, 9 points was the margin. Cairns won the first two. Gary Brown didn't play in either. He returned to play in the third game. South East Melbourne won by 9.
Tell you what, there's the answer to my question. Bull Quoll is going to Mitch Creek. Sam Wardenberg is guarding Matt Kenyon, not an offensive threat. That's what you can do. When you're not going to respect and guard Matt Kenyon's three ball or his offensive end, you could really be a floating fifth defender on the floor, and that's why he gets that block.
It is, and Bull Quoll's, he's got his hands full. He's great defensively. The one problem, foul trouble. So he's going to have to keep out of fouls. Mitch is great in getting to the hoop, great in contact, and getting to the free throw line. So Bull Quoll's got to do a great job keeping his hands out.
Phoenix come up empty on their opening possession. Wardenberg looks inside. Tries to find Quoll underneath.
If you are Matt Kenyon, going back to the way that Sam Wardenberg's going to guard him, he's just going to sit off. And a lot of it you see the way that teams guard Ben Simmons and Russell Westbrook in the NBA. That's exactly what they're going to do, just zone off. And Matt Kenyon's got to take a couple confidently and just really test the waters.
Yeah, if he makes his first one or two, there's going to be a change made. But it's it. He can't put it away. He's got to be aggressive from the start, make the defense honest.
Miller can't get the turnaround to go. He's Cook trying to back his way, show some strength off the side of the backboard. Kenyon's able to keep it alive, and the Phoenix will get the second possession.
I think that was just the heat up there. Just lost the handle.
I'm not sure I've ever seen that. Is there going to be a flop warning? He's put him to the floor, and then step through post move into the side of the backboard.
Bit of humidity up there, bit of humidity.
It is a tough road trip. You have the highlight dunk on against Sarah 1 week, and then you have the Sanders watching, getting ready for next week's overtime.
Let's not lock up.
One man who's out there enjoying the humidity is our own Derek Ruck, a former league MVP, who's with us courtside. Good evening, Ruck.
Hello, guys, and I made the veteran mistake of walking to the venue from the hotel today. It was a nice, cool 30 degrees, and I paid the price. But the Taipans, they want to get off to a nice start here. Both teams are moving the ball well early. Southeast Melbourne were plagued by turnovers in the first quarter on Sunday against Perth before they came home in devastating fashion in the second half. This is a really important playoff-type game up here in Cairns early in the season.
That's turning the ball over. That's going to be a foul on Matt Kenyon.
And we saw that last week.
Hang on. Oh, what have they called?
Go, come on.
I think this might be a little happy feet, a little shuffling the feet before the foul. 21 turnovers for Cairns that led to 32 points off turnovers for New Zealand last week. It is very hard to win a game at any level when you're turning over the ball that much and allowing teams to score.
Here's Cummings in the corner.
He just can't buy a three to start the season. 0 of 9 right now, Will Cummings. Shot the ball really well to Blitz.
Wahlberg rumbles down the lane and gives Cook a taste of his own medicine.
Have you put the Mickey on him, Bulls? Obviously talking about his highlights this week and now being on a highlight.
He's just involved in highlights generally.
Oh yeah, Sam Wahlberg has got that sneaky bounce.
Doesn't mind taking it right in. Cooks tries to come back. And now they open things up out and running.
That's the way they like to play. Whether it's a turnover, it doesn't matter even if it's a made shot, they like to play quick. And let's have a look at this from Sam Wahlberg. Catches everybody sleeping, including Tyler Cook. On the Harvey Norman replay, that is going to look nice on Instagram a bit later. Might be an and one as well.
Oof, that's a tough finish, but I think that speaks to the level of the NBL and the athletes that we have here, that these highlight plays that are usually safe for the NBA are now happening down here, and it's awesome to watch.
Paul Quall trying to put the moves on Creek. One is waved away. Vaughan Mabry, Damien Lyons, Jackie Dover out refereeing trio tonight. Phoenix 0 of 5 to start. Can't buy one. Last time they came up here, round 2. Well, the first time they met, I should say, last season, round 2. Southeast Melbourne had 26 turnovers in that 9-point Cairns win. That's a nice move from Quall. Gentle little floater that rolls home.
Played the 22 minutes, 7 points last week for Paul Cole. Missed a lot of time in the preseason, and this is the next evolution of his game. When he came in, and we know how good he's been as Mitch Creek tees one up, gets the first points on the ball for the Phoenix, but unlocking him offensively, more than just a defensive stopper. Adam Ford wants to see what he can do consistently on the offensive end.
Here he is outside, trying to show what he can do. Not on that occasion. Tyler Cook is keen to run the floor. Ben Air, we know he shoots with confidence when he's got the opportunity. I get the sense throughout he'd probably relish. He'd be the type of character that would really love playing in a former building.
He'd be kicking himself for that one. He hasn't seen a shot that open since practice, but it's been a few little errors from Taipans, just miscommunications on defense. Creek with the 3 just before and that open one. They're going to have to start tightening it up because Phoenix can get hot quickly.
It's going to be a Cairns ball out of the stoppage. It's going to be stay right here. So Sam Wardenberg with the early highlight. Mitch Creek's 3, the opening bucket for Southeast Melbourne. The style of Cairns when they are on demand, Pete, how do you see that it changes from what Adam Ford wants to play versus what he sort of just has to at the moment?
It doesn't change at all, actually, because of the way that he recruits, and he calls it the factory with that youth, and wants young guys coming in or guys who need second chances, and they're all going to get the chance to play. So throughout the season, he has injuries or whatever. He wants everyone to go out there and play as though they're a superstar and just play with confidence and get the job done.
And because he recruits players similar size and length, that sort of 2-3 combination that can play position, they've been attacking through the post with those mismatches with smaller guards. We just saw Gary Brown get picked on and had the lob thrown over his head, and a post-up play on the previous side out of bounds there. They use that size, doesn't matter if you're a bigger guard, to try and find mismatches. Oh, boy.
Speaking of size, Sam Menenga stepping outside and draining it.
He can stroke it.
That he can. Showing that early. Comes with some real pedigree, does the Kiwi big man. Brown finds Kenyon in the corner.
That's what he's got to do. That's what we spoke about. They're not going to respect it. They're going to step wide off and tempt him to shoot. He's got to keep doing that. He might miss the next couple, but he's got to not think about it and go in and shoot. And there he is. You spoke about his physique.
A bully.
Rowdy.
He's a bully.
That man's muscles have muscles. He is phenomenal.
Mate, it's not fair. I got a story for you. So we played together a lifetime ago. He was as big as he is now. But we're in the weight room. I'm sweating. I'm trying to push weights. Obviously, the three of us are well-built individuals. But I look over and Pat's just kind of taking it easy. I go over and like, you know, we're lifting. What are you doing, mate? And he's like, oh, I don't lift too often because I get too big. I get too much muscle.
He's not lying.
I almost packed up the bags and went home at that point. I was like, here I am trying to eat right, lift all these weights all the time, somehow skinnier the next day, and he's just like, I put on too much muscle.
He's a little big man, isn't he?
He's a running back. He's an NFL running back. That's what he is.
Yeah, a truck move would be something pretty ferocious.
And to be that size and keep that speed and agility, it's impressive. He's a tough guy.
Similar to Rajon Tucker in terms of that physical physique and the explosiveness.
And he's brought him to come off the bench. Make no mistake, Taron Armstrong is going to be the starting point guard for this team when he gets healthy, the exciting young Australian prospect. That's how he was recruited and brought into it, and was kind of trying to mentor him was Pat Miller. And hopefully once he gets healthy, we can see what that's all about.
Ruben Tarangi operating on the baseline. It's Gary Brown. We know how creative he can be with the ball.
Adam Ford has...
Not happy.
Adam Ford just ran to Townsville.
He's a long way up the court. So early Taipans lead Adam Ford.
Let me deal with it. Don't run up. I saw it.
Okay.
Just look at me.
Because I let you guys know. Because I let you guys know. I get it. I let you guys know.
Adam Ford having words with Vaughan Mabry. Let's get courtside to Derek Rucker.
Well, there's a situation developing back here with Will Cummings. The Cairns medical staff has actually come over to provide some assistance. They've shut it down back here. He's bleeding pretty bad from the mouth. I think they're checking the jaw, and obviously any shots that occur to the head, they'll have to do a concussion protocol check. But Will Cummings was very engaged early, and you guys, Ryan, you know that feeling when you really want to get into the game and you feel like you're ready to go, and then something unfortunate like this happens. It's a real kick in the guts.
Made it all too familiar over the last few seasons, unfortunately, but he's had just a bad run of things. He did he get his nose split open in one of the first few games last week, and now this. So, look, just hoping all for the best, and just a bit of a cut in the lip, maybe.
That's what it looked like, and I'm wondering if that's why the Cairns medical staff have come over to help maybe stitch that up or do something to try and get that fixed as quick as possible for him. You can see the frustration heading back out the back.
Maybe he's going to get one of Mitch Creek's
Just
Just a bit of ice, the easiest way to do it, isn't it?
Came prepared, didn't he? A big 24 pack.
To be
Polish
fair,
those off at half time.
To be fair, they didn't look like they'd been frozen. When he, fresh from the supermarket. You can't do anything with them if they're not frozen. You're not going to
Put them on ice during the game, and
got some dry ice out the back somewhere. Go the rapid freeze, Mitch Creek. 3 games for Mitch Creek last year against the Cairns Taipans were pretty profitable. He had 27, 25, and 21. Of course,
it's average. That's an average game.
well, you average it out. It is right about his average. Incredible in terms of scoring, but he gave them some trouble. He's giving them some trouble with moves like that.
Might have got away with a little trouble there, Mitch Creek, but that's what he can do. He's really patient, and there's Pat Miller. That speed you talk about, Rowdy, and that physicality is so hard to stay in front of.
Yeah, if he gets on your hip, or if he gets you on his hip, there's no way back in. He's too strong, and you saw he took off from like the free throw line, just about.
Has he got sneaky hops?
Oh, they're not sneaky. Did you see? He jumped from about the free throw line and just kind of hung in the air and finished with a nice layup.
It's like putting a Ferrari engine in a monster truck.
Well, he's got 8 quads, so that's going to help. If you have a look at the Phoenix bench, there's a reason that it looks thin with Craig Moller as that laid out. They obviously didn't travel with a DP as well. So Will Cummings, they're going to hope that that's not going to keep him out for too long at all.
And Cody Statman, the local boy who they didn't elect to bring on the plane. Here's Wardenberg from straight away. That won't go. Mike Kelly told the media he felt a bit bad leaving Cody Statman at home, wanted to get him up here and see his family, and then they get up here, and unfortunately Craig Moller comes out of the lineup. Creek with a wild pass straight to his coach. In some situations that might be good, not in that one.
He was open, so let it rain.
He took it pretty well, actually, clipboard and all.
Usually coaches, when they get the ball on the sideline like that, they're ready to toss the whiteboard. The ball's getting punted into the stands.
Well, he wasn't a stranger to his intercept in his playing days. Couple of time Defensive Player of the Year, Mike Kelly.
Very good player, very good. And good to see Anzac Rossetto getting in for a few minutes early on. He's got to hold it down those few minutes, give Cooks a break. Obviously, injuries still playing a part.
Now, that's why their ball call. Talking about unlocking on the offensive end, but Pat Miller was trying to post up Owen Foxwell there. You've got to let that happen. You've got to see what Phoenix are going to do defensively. That's going to be a bit of a mismatch. So you want to give them the patience to get down, post up, and then see. They're going to run a double team. If there's movement off the ball, someone's going to be open.
Yeah, it's that balance at 40 system where they want to be all-out attack, but sometimes just picking the right option makes more sense.
So 3-point ball game. Taipans trying to open up a bit of a lead. In the corner, not being able to hit is Clintman. Knocked down a couple. 4 last week. He shot it pretty well at the blitz. Mitch Creek getting inside. Nice move. Makes it a 1-point game. Rossetto, Tarangi, Brown, Foxwell, Creek out there for the Phoenix. Miller, AK Gack, Sam Wardenberg, Bobby Clintman, Bull Quoll. Out there for Adam Ford's Taipans. Miller again, swooping to the hoop.
Thought we were about to see those hops come out.
Well, that's a great business decision of Gary Brown there.
Brown's got moves of his own, maybe not in the aerial capacity, but certainly with the dribble. Ruben Tarangi can't hit from outside.
And that's that kind of junking up defense where everybody's switching, but everybody's playing with superb energy that Adam Fords want to see from the Taipans. And there is Bull Quoll on the attack offensively. They've already taken 6 field goal attempts early in this one. Good start here from Cairns.
So 5-point Cairns lead at the first snooze timeout. Let's take a look at our Mitsubishi Motors threes leaders coming into round 2 of this season. Quatnoy, of course, a former Taipan. He had 6 against the Hawks in the Kings opener. Tyler Harvey had 5 of his own for Illawarra. Jack McVeigh had 4. He did his best to try and lead the Jack Jumpers to a win over the Wildcats out west. And Finn Delaney had 4 in that opening round as well. He didn't add to his tally, having missed for the Breakers earlier tonight in that narrow loss to the Bullets. But Quatnoy, we know he's a sharpshooter and we know he can do it in big moments, Rowdy. And he started the season in really fine style.
He has, and he's come out super aggressive again tonight. So, look, that's what you want from him. You want him to be aggressive, but there's got to be that balance between aggression and smart shots and playing a little bit out of control. But there's one name I'll be expecting to see on that pretty soon. Goulding, he's had a bit of a slow start to the season.
He has. Obviously, they've still got a lot to figure out in terms of their rotation, their lineup. They're incredibly deep.
Yeah, it's a bad problem, isn't it? We're so deep.
Ian Clark coming back in as well. JLA to come back in, but I'm sure he'll rise up. They hit 4 against Adelaide. But Mitch Creek's the one for me. He looked under. We were talking about being underdone. He looked like he came into that first game in the throwdown really hampered by a calf injury. He was heavily
the one at the blitz.
He was heavily wrapped. That calf doesn't look as heavily wrapped today, but he was great against Perth. Had 23 points in game 2 after 6 points in game 1, and looks on the front foot here with 7 points early and ultra aggressive.
3 of 3 from the field. Here's Mitch Creek, of course, MVP finalist last season. Phoenix captain, Ruben Tarangi from outside, had a terrific off-season.
That's not going to make Mike Kelly happy because he just called the timeout, Spoke about executing on the offensive end, and for Ruben Tarangi, we know how great he played in the World Cup, and Fever Ruben and shooting the way he was shooting the ball, and they're still going to go under and tempt him. You can't fall into that trap straight after a timeout where your coach has asked for you to execute in the half court.
Yeah, especially with Lott still on the shot clock. He's good enough, and the team moves it around so well. He's going to find an open look later on the shot clock, a little bit better than Ruben.
Good hustle from the Taipans. Wardenberg kept it alive after the loose pass from Klintman, and heads-up play from Bull Quall to throw it off a body. Fella Sam Wardenberg showing some hustle to get across the court. Mitch Creek checks out of the game. So a 5-point lead. Takeaway for the Phoenix. Maybe one for the Taipans. They did such a great job of forcing turnovers on defense last year. Not on that occasion. We know how aggressive they are defensively, this Cairns team. Especially when Taj McCall's back in the lineup. Pete said they really like to muck it up, but they'll play the passing lanes. They'll be aggressive. Five of 15 early for the Phoenix, so Mike Kelly's crew has some work to do. Sam Menenga checks back into the game. Tyler Cook back in as well for the Phoenix. Foxwell, he brings such energy to this Southeast Melbourne lineup. Guarded by Klintman, giving away a bit of size, not giving away any craft at all.
Tough shots. He's going to have an extended role if Cummins is unable to come back. So him being aggressive, especially on the defensive end where he made his name, he's got to bring some energy, bring that youthfulness, be 19, 20 years old, whoever he is. Those fresh legs should be ready to go.
Not quite working out the pass from AK Gag. Brown got up in the air, Miller poked it away.
That's what we're talking about. I'm unsure why they haven't tried to post up Pat Miller. They tried to do that first possession, but Bull Quall shot the three. That play's going to work with a little handoff, fake handoff, try and get a little backdoor cut. But one thing on Foxwell is good at, as you mentioned defensively, he's got quick hands. So he's going to be able to read that, even if he does get clipped on the handoff, to get a hands or to make a play. You got to post him up. You tried to do it the first time, didn't get to it. You got to at least test the waters to see how the Phoenix are going to respond. And it's not just against Foxwell, even Gary Brown. He's going to have that physicality mismatch against any of these guards from the Phoenix. Most guards in the league, to be honest.
Most players.
Brown gets a screen from Cook. Cook tries to bash his way inside, and he'll get to the stripe.
13.
So powerful in there.
2 shots.
It's Tyler Cook. He brings plenty of NBA experience. He's played games for 5 NBA teams. He's been contracted by 7. So he knows all about the business of basketball, and unfortunately it's going to probably come to hurt him in the sense that he won't be sticking around with the Phoenix all season.
Well, no. Alan Williams, big source, due to come back pretty soon from all reports. So Supercoach fans especially, just enjoy Tyler Cook while we have him, and not going to be around too long.
Might have to just sneak in a trade boost.
Although
just one round.
I think there's a couple of teams interested in trying to keep him once the Phoenix have to let go of him.
Is a captain material, you reckon, Pete? Supercoach wise?
I thought about it this round. I chose not to, but I'll tell you what. I had Will Cummings in, but I got rid of Will Cummings for Sobey, and right now I'm up and about.
You happy with that? I think I've picked him as my captain.
Have you?
Yeah. 4 a.m. last night. I think I've
When you do your finest work?
He's either captain or I've cut him from the team. I don't remember which one it is.
4 a.m. last night, also known as the morning.
It's dark.
He's been an exciting addition, no doubt about it. Saw Will Cummings come to the end of the Phoenix bench, so hopefully that's a positive sign that he can check back in. And there's that post up. So that's Bobby Clinton versus Foxwell. Right now they're trying to see who Foxwell's guarding and post him up. If you're Pat Miller, you've got to take 2 or 3 dribbles to the 45, to the wing, and then enter that ball. That ball thrown from there is always going to lead to a deflection or a turnover.
Yeah, back to basics, back to what coaches, get to that 45, fake a pass, make a pass, just make it easy on your teammate. Yes, he has a height advantage down there, but give him a good pass so he's got good position to make a move.
About 2/3 of a foot. Bobby Clinton over Owen Foxwell. I don't think Owen Foxwell's going to give anything away in terms of competitiveness, though. Here's Miller and Cook, couple of beasts going at one another. Antonio pulls the trigger. That's well off. Southeast Melbourne with a chance to tie or take the lead. It splits open for Tarangi, who gets inside and is fouled. Ruben Tarangi will step to the free throw line. 2 of 2 there last week.
And that's where it can be really aggressive. In transition, he's got size, speed, he can handle the ball. He loves that little right to left crossover. But putting his head on the rim, getting himself some confidence, and then step back and hit the threes.
There is Will Cummings checking back into the game. That's good for the Phoenix. So only a chance for some burgers.
Saw Chris Golding give them away last week.
Unheard of.
So the best have done it.
Oh, here we go.
And Ruben Tarangi's done it here. Code word is move. They jump on the NBL app and click the Hungry Jacks banner and into the code word to selected Hungry Jacks stores. Miller getting inside, showing the vertical again.
He's teasing us. He's got that in him.
I don't know if he does. I'm calling it, Rowdy. I don't know if he does.
That's it. By the end of the season, I'm not going to say the end of the game, end of the season. He does.
He's definitely got the hops. Tyler Cook accepting a pass upstairs from Cummings.
Oh, Phoenix sent 3.
Antonio's way outside.
Well, we know a double team at certain times is always going to be tough. It's going to leave some wide open shooters. A triple team is a bold strategy, especially with Jonah Antonio getting ready to catch and shoot.
One of the quickest triggers in the NBL. He hasn't seen a shot he doesn't like, but he's tough. He's a really strong shooter, and that's an easy one in rhythm.
Oh, so's that. Will Cummings ending the quarter on a great note for Southeast Melbourne with a dagger from deep. And Cairns go into quarter time with a 2-point lead. Entertaining start at the Snake Pit. It's the Snakes 22 to the Phoenix 20.
This competition will be running all year long. All you got to do is scan that QR code on the screen. If not, simply go to quiz.orangearmy.com.au. All you got to do is fill in the details. Select who you think will be the Taipans' top scorer this evening. You are selected. You will be one of 2 people who will win $100 vouchers to use at the Chambers, home of the longest brunch. That's right. One of 2 $100 gift vouchers to use at the Chambers. Simply scan that QR code, select Taipans' top scorer for the game. Bada boom, bada bing, could be you. Now, Hungry Jacks is going to change a little bit.
quarter in the books in far north Queensland. Jonah Antonio hitting from outside. And Will Cummings ending the quarter with a Mitsubishi Motors 3 as well. Great to have fans celebrating with the foam hands. Mitsubishi Motors three-pointer foam hands, a range of prizes up for grabs every week, including a brand new Mitsubishi Pajero Sports. 22-20 at the end of one. Joel Peterson, Ryan Brockhoff, Pete Hawley with you. Derek Rucker is courtside with us. Pete, Rowdy, your impressions of that opening term?
Had a bit of everything, to be honest. I mean, we saw Cairns at their best when they like to push the ball in getting out in transition after causing some turnovers and off some missed shots. Then the Phoenix slowly started to steady, I thought, at the back end of that first quarter. And Mitch Creek looks great. They started to get the ball to Tyler Cook, and then Will Cummings finally on the board from deep.
Yeah, good for his confidence right there at the end of the quarter, and just good to see him back on the court after taking that knock early in the game.
NBL MVP Derek Rucker's with us courtside. Derek, what were your summations of that opening period?
Yeah, just to follow up on Rowdy, 4 to 5 stitches in Will Cummings' lip. He'll be on the no-salt diet for a couple of weeks. And I just felt overall, and this is something to watch out for during the game, is the length and size of the Taipans. They are noticeably the superior team in that regard. And if they can get this tempo up a little bit more, they're going to be dangerous in the second half.
Matt Mayan can't hit from outside.
Shout out the Cairns staff as well for coming across to help with those stitches. Will Cummings.
Absolutely. Oh, Tyler Cook getting his own back at Sam Wardenberg. Now that's becoming a jewel we didn't expect.
Well, you expect him to flush it down, but that caught me by surprise. Oh, we're going to get another look at this.
I just want to see the replay.
Anytime, anywhere, Tyler Cook.
I tell you, it just didn't look like he had the distance. He just turned the hand over.
Let that man cook.
That is a bad, bad man.
Oh
my God, he's right.
Southpaw spike right on the top of Sam Wardenberg's dome. Behaviour warning on the Taipans as
Tyler Cook.
Matt Mayan comes to the bench. Some kind of welfare warning. What Tyler Cook's done a couple of times already. Southeast Melbourne in charge in the ball game for the first time tonight. Tarangi getting to his left hand, not able to hit. Antonio's already knocked one down. Now he's very capable from outside. The roll from Quoll, can't get it to go. Phoenix will push it in transition. Very dangerous in this position. Cummings turns the corner, finds Mitch Creek.
That's twice now Bobby Clement on defensive rebounds has got into the body of Tyler Cook, not let him try and get set, getting ready for an offensive rebound, and just nudged him enough to be able to come up with the D-board himself. Yes, it's defensive rebounds, but the way he goes about it's kind of a veteran play for such a bright young star. To him to be able to have that awareness of, I'm not going to be able to out-muscle Tyler Cook, I'm not going to be able to out-jump him, I'm just going to get into his body. He's really impressive.
Yeah, that was going to be my point. He's not going to out-jump him. You just saw the highlight dunk the play before, so get into his legs, don't let him get momentum and be able to jump over the top. But just impressive, fundamental sort of things from Bobby, and hopefully we just get to see a little bit more of him with ball in hand and what he can do creating for himself and for others.
I think that'll come throughout the season as he gets more confident in his line-up, what works well with the rotations. These are very exciting prospects as part of the next stars. All over the globe.
Absolutely is. Bobby Klinkman, of course, Sweden, born in Malmo. Father played professionally of Senegalese descent. Interestingly, Alex Sarr's father also of Senegalese descent. So a couple of the next stars drawing their lineage from that part of the world.
Oh, that is...
Bang! Need a helmet on for that kind of move.
So that is the first foul on Patrick Miller's tricep. Still got 4 to go.
Does he get 5 for each tricep?
Well, he's going to be here a while.
Shoulder pads on Patrick Miller, the running back. Beautiful move from Cumming, just surveying the defence and picking exactly what he wanted.
No surprises timeout for Manifold. It's exactly what he did not like against the New Zealand Breakers. Just turning the corner. That's a practice drill. That's not how Cairns like to play defensively. That is way too easy. So we're going to have a quick timeout, and he is not going to be happy.
Snooze timeout. The defence has gone to sleep for the Cairns Taipans. A 6-0 run out of the gates of the quarter-time break for Southeast Melbourne. They lead at 26-22. A man who's got some coaching experience for the Cairns Taipans. He's got some commentary experience with us as well. Pete Hawley is Tajir McCall. He's been good enough to jump on the headset and join us at the timeout. Taj, good to talk to you. First of all, how's that hip going as you work your way back from injury?
Good. A lot of icing, a lot of treatment, busy days, but it's going good. I can't complain at all.
Taj, you're obviously not in that timeout right now, but Adam Ford mentioned after the last game he wasn't happy with the ball containment, broken down off the dribble. What's the message he's going to be giving right now, and how big of a spray is it?
We can't let missed shots affect our defense. When we miss shots, we start doing undisciplined stuff on defense and fouls, and then we stop playing together. We got to stay together and trust what we practice in our game plan, and trust that we'll win.
How's the preview for the rest of the season? Obviously, you've got some bodies to come back, but how's the feeling around the group? How's the confidence, and how are we doing looking forward?
Oh, it's good, man. You know, the beginning of the season, you're always figuring yourself out to go up and down, but you want to be playing your best basketball towards the end of the season. So that's what our goal is, get better every day. It's not about wins or losses right now.
Hey, Tajir, I'm Derek Rucker. I'm not too far away from you.
How you doing, sir?
I'm great. Check this out. What's the ceiling for this team? Are you guys a legitimate championship threat? You weren't too far last year.
I mean, you asking me, I'm always going to say yeah, especially if I'm on a team and I'm with my brothers. But we got a long way to go. It's hard to tell right now, but we keep chipping away, and I think we're going to be right where we need to be.
Taj, I mean, we appreciate your time, but are you getting close to getting as much sleep as you can? And what's the clock looking like, big fella?
A week or so, week and a half when we go back to the stage, yeah. So I'm trying to take as many naps as possible.
Absolutely. Some exciting times coming up with a little one coming your way, Taj. We really appreciate your time in the broadcast, and all the very best with what's ahead of you, both in a basketball sense and off the court as well.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the game. Hopefully we win.
Absolutely. Tajir McCall from the Taipans joining us. Spent a bit of time with him up at the Blitz, Pete, in his commentary duties.
Great character to have in the league. He's a great person. He's a great player. I just want to see him back on the floor. And there's a reason he was given the reins to coach during the Blitz. It's weird to let a player do it, but Adam Ford said it last year. He said, I want my leader on the floor to be an extension of me. And what's the best way to do that is to coach the team. And he did that last year at the Blitz and did it again this year. But they need him on the floor. They need his leadership, and I think they need a lot of things that he brings, especially on the defensive end.
Yeah, defensively, that's where he's missed the most. His ability to guard 1 through 4, activity, create steals, deflections. He's sorely missed, but wish him best with the arrival of the little one. It's his life's about to change. And
so talking to Patrick Miller about this, they know each other very well. They went to the same school and different timings, but they spent a lot of time together working out. Patrick Miller has 3 kids, and Taj asked him, he said, I've already told the missus that I want to be the one that does all the day stuff and she does the nights and I get to sleep. And Patrick Miller just laughed at him and said, that's not how it works at all.
And Tajir is one of those guys who you love to watch play. It's almost a disappointment when you hear that he's not playing in a game. He's so exciting. He brings so much to the game, and his potential is hardly tapped. He's got a lot left, and we haven't seen the best of him as a player at all.
Well, he was quite a latecomer to the sport, too. He didn't start basketball until pretty long into his athletic career.
And another one who's fallen in love with Australia. Has no plans to leave anytime soon.
Not only that, he told us at the Blitz that he's sort of thinking about citizenship.
Oh, hello.
Oh, boy.
Well, we don't like to say that word too loud. That's too easy once again. Adam Ford just called a timeout to correct that, and that was defensively in transition, just not good enough.
So 30-23, it's been a 10-1 run out of quarter time. 3.5 minutes played in this second frame.
Take a look for that mismatch again.
Cross-court pass to Clintman.
Fantastic pass from Sam Wardenberg right there. Saw the defense cheating over, but that's the beauty of the post-up. You're going to see how the defense is going to do it on the weak side, and you get that skip pass, and Clintman in rhythm knocks it down.
Nice to see Bobby showing his range from outside. Wardenberg's just such a smart player. Got basketball IQ for days. I think he got 3 degrees when he was at Miami, if you don't mind.
Join the club.
Really? Yeah, 3?
Oh, 2 bachelors, 1 master's. Does that count?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 3.
Right. So 2 plus 1. Yeah, that's 3. All right.
How many for you, Rowdy?
No, just the one.
Yeah, I reckon I would be lucky if I went to uni for a week. So you boys have all got me covered quite easily.
I was trying to focus on basketball as well, and
did well at both, mate. You did well at both.
Have you used your degrees though?
Well, one of them gets me here. Well, not really, but essentially.
So we can ask a little bit of a clock issue.
Still no good at trivia night though. Unlike Sam Wardenberg. Sam Wardenberg, from all reports, is the one that if you want to go to trivia night here in Cairns, you want to go down to the local, Sam Wardenberg needs to be on your table.
Okay, so if we've got Sam Wardenberg in our trivia team, we're going to have 6:09 on the clock here as we restart. We've got Sam Wardenberg in our trivia team. What are you bringing to the table? What's your specialty?
I'll go get the jugs.
Right, okay.
I'll make sure it's a good night.
Love that, and you can pay for them. Rowdy, what's your specialty in the trivia?
Oh. Random facts, just real obscure, nerdy facts.
All right.
So Rowdy's a late sub call up for that.
Yeah.
If someone's out, okay, Rowdy, we need you.
Yep.
Spot opened up.
Derek, what are you bringing to the table? I feel like you'd be a music or a movies man, Derek Rucker.
Yeah, I like music. I like, obviously, basketball. But in general, guys, my people, we don't play trivia.
Talking about, we bring nightclubs,
yeah,
the night scene, nightlife scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
Christmas Day game last year in Sydney. Had a good night with Derek Rucker.
He's a man of impeccable style. His ruck, his ball qual. Couldn't get that one to go. Rattled out. And Kenyon brings it up the floor for the Phoenix. Kenyon out there with Rossetto, Cummings, Brown and Creek. Menenga and Wardenberg out there. So all 3 Kiwi big men. Anzac Rossetto and then Sam Wardenberg and Sam Menenga is a bank 3 from Gary Brown.
Take him any way you can. Right now, scoring as well. It's really dried up in this second quarter. Ultra aggressive on the offensive end right now. 4 of 10 from the field. I think you saw last week that he just wasn't aggressive at all enough, and that's what he can do. That's why Adam Ford loves getting him back on this team.
The ultimate 2-way player is Bull Qual. Go to work on the offensive end here. He might like the matchup against Rossetto. He's got Menenga who wants it down low. He's got Brown for company. Clintman in the corner again. Bobby bangs another one in.
And again, we talk about how he's playing a lot smarter than his age. Right there, you saw him nearly try and creep in because he was worried he wasn't going to get seen, and then he went back out to space the floor. Patrick Miller flashed high, and he got another wide open look. He is playing like a veteran.
Man, Cairns is just picking apart that mismatch.
And the block from Clintman. A weak side swat.
Hello. Showing out a little bit now. Oh, highlight.
He wanted it in the corner as well. He had the arms outstretched. Here's the Harvey Norman replay.
Here's the knockdown. You can see he spaced the floor. Mitch Creek was trying to bite in. Got behind the 3-point line. Feet set. 2 for 2 from the corner for Bobby Clintman. And down this end, that's how just smacking his name up the draft board.
Swat of the right hand. He might have got rid of 5 or 6 names ahead of him at least. Here he is outside, teeing another one up. Not quite that time.
Little heat check. You gotta have that. He made 2 in a row. Yep. Retired or just shoot the 3rd one.
Spoken like a man who knows what it was like.
Absolutely, and the steal from Clintman, playing the passing lane and the hammer. Doing a little bit of everything is Bobby Clintman. And he's handed the Snakes back the lead. And Mike Kelly, all of a sudden, is not happy with what he's seeing. 33-32. Clintman brings some real energy, Rowdy.
He's been very impressive in the last few minutes, just making plays at both ends and finishing that one on the break.
Now, we've seen a couple of knockdowns from Clintman. Sam Menenga's already knocked down a 3. Now, Derek Rucker, you are a very proud Davidson alumni. I've dug deep into my research. I've looked at the stats of the history. Sam Menenga had one of the best 3-point shooting seasons at Davidson College. Steph Curry, we know, went there, but have a look at this, Ruck. for one of the best. This is all time. When it crunched the numbers, Steph Curry's bet 43.9%. Yong Lee from the Illawarra Hawks 44%. Sam Menenga a bit less on attempts at 46%. Derek Rucker, first time the three-point line was introduced, 50% from the field on 147 attempts from three. Rucker, stop it.
That was a long time ago, Pete, but I appreciate the love. It makes me feel good. But yeah, I could shoot it every now and then.
Well, Ruck, we do have to bring. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter what happens in college because we'll never have this moment, Ruck. So this is something that I don't know what the producers decided to bring this back. I'm not sure. We're just talking about college stuff. Rucker had an outstanding Davidson career, and then I had to bring. It had to be brought up now because I wasn't the only one. He's talking about Australian basketball. Rowdy had this. Look at the hair on him.
Look at the shorts on him.
Oh, it's too much.
So, Ruck, you might have one of the records. You've got a lot of record books at Davidson, but Rowdy and I will always have some iconic moments over there.
How much dust was on those tapes, boys?
Oh, it's just nice. Done on a Nokia 3310. Tried to find some Rucker highlights, but as I said, it's just he has an outstanding college resume.
He'd be there for too long, I think, if you were trying to find just cut down highlights of Derek.
That makes me. Oh, that's a
Gary Brown with a big hit.
But that vision makes me feel old because it's grainy video. Ooh. Way to try to go up and finish. And did you see the length of the shorts? It was when long shorts were cool, and yeah, basketball's gone away from that again.
I think MC Hammer was jealous of your shorts there, Red.
How's Sam Menenga? He shot 33, Sam Menenga, but 47%. And we're starting to see that's what you can do is step out and shoot it. And he's looking forward to the matchup against Yong Lee. Two Davidson guys, they play together. And he is a very exciting prospect. And I think Davidson Wildcats fans would love to see him come back for his senior year. He chose not to do that. And that Davidson alumni running strong in the NBL.
Great for the NBL, isn't it? And geez, that would have been a tough match, tough cover having those two players spotting up for threes in 2022. But great to have them both here in the NBL.
Gonna have two more shots here, I think. Violation off.
2 shots, 2.
Play, so okay, Gack will get 2 at the line. Of course, his brother Korjok not out there tonight for South East Melbourne. He's got an ankle injury. The 3 Gack brothers. Deng playing professionally as well, but they went at each other when Brisbane played Illawarra last season. Korjok playing for Brisbane at the time, and AK playing for the Hawks. Yeah, they're both in new colours, but no meeting so far. Brown inside. He was looking for Cook. Ended up catching the bottom of the backboard, and turnover for the Phoenix.
Tough one from half court to throw a lob. I know Cooks is athletic, but that's a long time in the air to try and make a play.
So Miller, Gack, Wardenberg, Klintman, Qual out there for the Taipans. No Josh Roberts yet. Hoping to see him soon. His Taipans debut. Here's Miller going to work and hitting.
Loves the mid-range. Does Patrick Miller up to 10 points now in double figures, 4 of 6 from the field.
And another lead change. This topsy-turvy second period. Cook's gone down pretty sore there. Immediately clutching at his face and writhing around in pain.
In the eye.
Of course, when these two teams met last year was when Keanu Pinder had that injury at the State Basketball Centre.
Get another look at it here.
He's just run into the elbow of Gack.
I wonder if it's Wardenberg's hand comes through.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, right. You could see the index finger right in the eye of Tyler Cook. That was a perfect angle. Hopefully he's all right. Just flush straight in there.
Doesn't look in a good way at the moment. Mike Kelly coming over to show some support for the big man.
It doesn't matter how big or strong you are, a hit like that's going to put you down. Oh.
So another bit of a concern, of course. They've had Will Cummings out earlier in the game with some blood from the mouth for the Phoenix, and now Tyler Cook with that in the eye, and in the meantime a technical called on Mike Kelly as well. So
we've had some horrific eye injuries in NBL history. Kill Mitchell from New Zealand, eye popped out whilst he was playing, and you mentioned Keanu Pinder, but that baseline angle, you could see it was literally the only thing that could have got him from Sam Wardenberg. The pointed finger went straight in. Hopefully he's all right.
And it looks like some of the Cairns medical staff there ready to render assistance, which is terrific. Have the cooperation of both teams. 1 point ball game, 36-35. Earlier tonight, of course, the first leg of our double header here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Thursday night hoops. The Brisbane Bullets getting the job done over the New Zealand Breakers over at Spark Arena, and a bit of a surprise result. Nathan Sobey balling out.
Not so surprised, to be honest. I think the Bullets look good, very good early compared to last year. I mean, let's be honest, it was going to take a whole lot to be worse than what happened last year in terms of all the mess that both on and off the floor. They look really good. Justin Schuller's come in, changed a few things and recruited really well. And the best part about that, I think, is they've recruited 2 point guards. So Nathan Sobey never has to worry about controlling the team and setting them up offensively.
They've got a great balance inside out. Baines is looking rejuvenated. Yeah, it just got a great flow. Added some more shooting this year. Just inside out game. They're going to be tough to guard. And look, some had them highly ranked early in the season or before the season. Some weren't too sure, but I think they're going to surprise quite a few teams this year.
Let's go courtside to Derek Rucker. Derek, what can you see of Tyler Cook at the moment?
Well, there's definitely a laceration on that eyelid, or hopefully not deep in the eye. He took some eye drops and reacted somewhat violently and negatively towards that. The Cairns doctors chasing after him now as Cook has made his way back to the change room. He's probably going downstairs for more attention, but getting a look at that eye up close, it was not good at all, and he's got to feel bad for the young man.
Well, talk about it's a cut anywhere close to the eye, which it looked like. He's going to struggle to be back on the floor. And not what the Phoenix need. No Alan Williams, no Gary Brown's been out. They dealt with injuries a whole lot last year, Rowdy, as you know. But they just need a clean bill of health. No Craig Moller tonight.
Yeah, it's going to test their depth in the front court and the bigs. Beg's going to play some more minutes. Anzo Griselda's going to play some more minutes. Creek's going to have to shoulder a huge workload now. And as we sort of alluded to earlier, the length and size of the Taipans is really going to play a factor.
And it's playing a factor on the glass. I mean, Tyler Cook has 4 rebounds. They're getting out-rebounded right now by 6. The Phoenix, no Craig Moller, exceptional rebound, especially on the offensive end. They've got no one to really crash the glass right now. That's where I think you mentioned, Rowdy, a guy like Reece Faye's going to have to come in and try and have those impact minutes. And if Tyler Cook doesn't come back, then everybody, it doesn't matter how big you are, how small you are, you've got to try and crash the glass.
Yeah, everyone's got to get involved. It's got to be a group effort. No leaking out, no worry about taking off a fast break, collect the defensive rebound, and run together in a wave.
Mitch Creek and Adam Ford just chatting it up on the sideline. #1 offensive rebounding team in the competition last year, the Phoenix. Of course, Alan Williams, such a big part of that. Almost a takeaway for Gak, who got a hand in the passing lane.
Oh, hello.
And then Clipman just rips it away from Vague. Bobby Clipman with the thievery. And the exclamation point.
What a second quarter from him. What do you think, Hools?
Well,
jumping up those boards?
Again, the AI's all over this game for good reason. Not a whole lot in the first quarter, but has exploded in this second quarter.
9-0 run for the Taipans to hit the front by
And he takes a charge.
7.
And he takes a charge on the other end. He is doing it all.
It's so impressive. You see a lot of young players who want to come in, they want to just handle the ball, take it all of themselves, but he's making plays at the defensive end, getting down transition, using his freakish athleticism.
Just takes Reece Fake's lunch money and off he goes. And on the other end, puts his body on the line, and I tell you what, you just hear the board just tick higher and higher.
Gak inside, little turnaround won't go. A couple of sets of hands. Mitch Creek tried to keep it alive acrobatically. And
that's what you're talking about rebounding-wise. They need other people to get in there and get those boards. They have an exceptional defensive effort. They force a contested shot, but they just cannot come up with that defensive board.
-8 on the rebound count Whitman tries from mid-range. That won't go. Make it -9.
2 for $1.
Bobby from the corner. Not that time. Minute to go in this opening term. Taipans by 7. Phoenix closed in style in the opening term, and they need to do likewise here. Air, Creek, Vague, Tarangi, Cummings out there. The captain puts it on his own shoulders.
That's just not going to get it done. You've got to get the ball to Mitch Creek. He needs to be your guy. But as soon as Mitch Creek caught that, all 4 other players stood still. There was no cutting, there was no screening, and in the end they settled for a contested 3.
Miller outside to Wardenberg. That one won't go. What can they come up with late? Tarangi in transition. Opens the window.
That's the shot you wanted, wasn't it, Pete?
Well,
that was it. The off transition bank 3 from a step behind the 3-point line.
He'll take it.
They all count.
Wow. Maybe not exactly what they dialed up, but 3 points nonetheless. As we tick down to half-time, the Taipans will be aiming to end this half on a bright note. Miller with the matchup against Vague. Gets inside, draws some contact.
Ignore that siren because foul has been called. Miller had some dance moves out there.
Alex Madron, getting set to check into the game.
Here we go.
Patrick Miller making some moves.
Thought about him, super coach. I had to think. Just wondering whether Darren Armstrong was going to be fit. That was what really hurt me. He did have 7 turnovers last week, which also scared me away, Rowdy.
He did. Has Taran been pushed back to round 5?
Well, they go away next week for the games in the United States against the NBA team, so I don't think there's a question mark to potentially.
This is the second free throw. Creek from 3-quarter court. Not quite. And it's a 5-point Cairns Taipans lead at half-time, 43-38. Southeast Melbourne opened that second period with a 10-1 run to take the lead by 7. The game then swung violently back the other way. The Taipans closing it in some fine style. They lead by 5 at halftime. This man's been a big part of it. Bobby Clintman is with Derek Rucker.
Bobby, great second quarter from the Taipans. What was the difference in that quarter to turn this game around?
We just brought the intensity, playing good defense, getting stops, converting on offense, just playing good together, man. That's what it is.
Must feel good to knock down some shots, get out on the break, and show your athleticism. Getting more comfortable here in Australia?
Most definitely, man. Love the weather out here.
Oh, okay. All right, Bobby. Go in there, talk to the coach, listen up. You're a young man.
Bobby Clintman and Derek Rucker, he's certainly enjoying himself. He's the Cairns' next star, and why not? A big second term from him and the Snakes. They lead by 5 at the half.
Once again, thank you to everybody who's put their hard earned on the line for the underprivileged people. Thank you. Scotty? 2 tickets of the men's gala ticket is Liz on 0417 255 428 and Siobhan O'Donnell also on 0404 841098. Congratulations to the winners. Thank you. Scotty, where are you? Cheers, thanks. Councillor Max O'Halloran. Cairns, Taipans fans, let's see, can you complete this sentence? Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! We are going to do a quick contest right now. We have 4 Taipans tickets to give away to the winner. We're going to bring a couple of superstars out here, junior superstars. So, can we please get Scott, Gus, Cece and Savannah to come on our lineup here on the baseline. All right, Scott, let's get your lineup over this way. Savannah, you're going to be this line. Cece, over here. All right, are we ready to go? In 3, 2, 1, go, 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 go. The racers are going to go and get the Taipan shorts on. Once they get the Taipan shorts on, then they're going to pick up present number 1, then present number 2, then present number 3. They're going to carry all 3 presents. Get around the Halloween back. Oh no! Oh no! Gus has got the present. Come on, Scott, you got the same name as me. Scott, now pick him up. Oh, there's a winner. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. Your winner for tonight is Savannah. Congratulations. I'll give this man a contract. This man is willing to throw his body on the line. That's a future Taipans player coming up right there. Congratulations, Savannah. You just won 4 tickets to the next Taipans game. Congratulations. And we're going to show out to Terry and Charmaine celebrating their 30th wedding anniversary. Congratulations, Terry and Charmaine.
My name is Bobby Klintman. I'm from Sweden. I'm 20 years old. I came out here to Australia to start the season out here.
At what point when you started playing basketball did you think that you could make a career out of it and make the NBA?
Soccer was really like my main sport. I was watching basketball a little bit, but all my friends played soccer and stuff like that. When I started practicing more with my stepdad, because he used to take me to practices and stuff like that. He was my coach too. So when he seen the potential and I felt like I was getting better every day, he asked me like, do you really want to do this? And I told him like, this is what I want to do. Yeah, like basketball is the sport I want to put like all my focus in. After I was talking to Liam, Jeremy, and my agent Mike on the call, and my mom on the call, I just felt like it was a great opportunity. Because at first I didn't really know anything about. I heard about the NBL before, but I didn't know anything in depth. And when they told me about everything, like how the system was going to be run, like about Cairns, about Coach 40 and all that stuff, like, you know, I just felt like it was a great opportunity and I couldn't pass up on it.
Talk to me a little bit about 40 as a coach, because he's a very players coach. He loves that relationship.
Sir. Yeah, nah, he's a great coach. You know what I'm saying? He put every player like in the spot they're gonna thrive in. When he was recruiting me, like he knew what he was looking for exactly. So like he recruited a lot of athletic players, a lot of versatile players. I think with Coach 40's help, like we've been practicing very good. Everybody's getting better every day, and I just feel like he's a really good coach.
Great job. What's your family meant to you throughout this whole process?
They mean everything to me, you know what I'm saying? That's the people I do it for. Like, so much work they put in for me. They've been at all my games. Like, I just want to give back to them, you know what I'm saying?
Your mum, you said your mum's here in Cairns.
Yes, sir.
How cool is that to understand it? Playing professionally in another country?
Yeah. Nah, it's awesome, man. I can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the same time, as I got to go for it, like, sometimes you just got to, like, think about like how blessed I am to have it with me. You know, it's great. After practice, I get home-cooked meals and all that stuff. Like, it's great. I can't complain, man.
What can NBL and Cairns fans expect to see from you on the floor?
Just a guy that gives everything on the court, trying to win games. A lot of dunks, a lot of three-pointers, some flashy passes too. They can expect that too.
Well, he's delivered all that and more in that opening half, Bobby Klintman. He just loves the weather up in Cairns. The Scandinavian next star, he's doing great things in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Joel Peterson, Ryan Brockhoff, Pete Hawley with you at halftime. It's not a surprise. He is the man featuring in our Hungry Jacks halftime highlights. Bobby Klintman, he put on a show in that second term.
He was enormous, and again, he's just got a fantastic head on his shoulders. I think we can say that about all the next stars, all 8 of them that have been recruited. They've been perfect fits for what are needed for each team, but Bobby Klintman in particular, we're seeing the highlights. We're seeing, he spoke about he wanted to be nice on the passes, athletics and knocking down threes, but it's things that probably aren't going to be on the highlights, Rowdy, that we were most impressed with. It was a couple of positions where he was playing with the veteran side, where he decided to keep in space. Defensively, he stood in, drew a charge. He's going to do all that. He's going to get out on the break, and he's just a really exciting prospect. And I love the way he talks about it. And again, we talk about his maturing at such a young age over the course of the season. As we have a look at his Blackmore shot chart, the key to it is his family are here. So he gets to go home and understand. So it's a home away from home. You are playing in a completely different country, but you get to have that around for the next 6 months. And I think he's going to be an unbelievable prospect by the end of NBL24.
He looks good, and all his actions today have just been from the sideline, from the defensive end, creating things, and the rest of his game can build from there. He can get more comfortable with the ball in his hand. He can start creating for himself, creating for others, but doing that stuff on the defensive end and building his offense that way, it just makes it so much easier.
Sweden, Cairns, they're pretty much the same. He's doing some really good stuff for the Taipans early. Mitch Creek's doing all he can for the Phoenix as well in this opening half. We know what he brings to this team in terms of leadership and energy, Rowdy, and he needs to bring a lot of it because they find themselves in a little bit of a hole at half-time.
Yeah, he's been effective, but he's kind of periods of the game falling out of the game, not getting enough touches, not finding themselves in aggressive positions to attack the basket like he does. But if Cooks is out here in the second half and things weren't looking great with his eye, he's got to be the guy that offensively gets them going. Cummings as well, but it falls on Mitch. He's the engine room, he's their heart and soul. Everyone builds and grows from what he brings, so we're going to need a little bit more out of Mitch in the second half.
They'll be hoping that they can get plenty more out of Mitch Creek in this second half. It's pretty finely balanced at half-time. Not a lot in it between these two sides. There wasn't a lot in it at all when they played last season. It's Cairns by 5 at the half, 43-38. So much more coming up.
Have you guys had a smashing day? To the creator, see yourself on the screen. Show us your moves. Show us your dance moves. The creator, you'll catch it on the biggest screen. VMAX and their cinemas. September 28th. Oh yeah, lead the pack here, lead the pack. Uh-oh, we got a new one, I reckon. Oh! Crazy octopus, I think. This one's a lazy octopus. Hello. No? Stands for to get yourself two tickets to go to the creator. Got 3 more. Nice, get those dance moves happening. Swag's been back at the basketball. 23-24 season. Ooh, look at the game up. The creator. You might find yourself a couple of tickets coming your way. You can only see the creator on the biggest screen. VMAX exclusive to event cinemas.
Taipans by 5 at half-time. The Phoenix got a couple of injury worries in that opening half. Will Cummings taking a little bit of a knock early doors, having to get his mouth stitched up with some assistance from the home medical staff. And then Tyler Cook, who's played such a role in the opening stages for the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, takes a finger in the eye from Sam Wardenberg there and went down very hard. Derek Rucker told us courtside that He had some eye drops put in that eye and reacted pretty violently to it. So we'll check in with Derek very soon to see what the latest on Tyler Cook is. Will Cummings has returned to the court. Cook has not as yet. And as we come out of half-time, it is a 5-point Cairns Taipans lead. Joel Peterson, Pete Hawley, Ryan Brockhoff with you. Derek Rucker is courtside. Rowdy, what do you need to see from the Phoenix here? If you're sitting at home and you're a Phoenix fan, what are you hoping to see from your team as soon as this second half starts?
I think they're going to have to go small ball, so let's extend the pressure up full court. Let's try and speed the game up, cause some turnovers, get some easy buckets like they did against Perth last Sunday. They were able to get turnovers, get on the break. Will Cummings is great defensively, getting steals, just finding easy ways to score. It's just going to be a struggle in the half court.
I think for Mike Kelly, the message is going to be to every player that steps on, you got to step in with confidence, knowing that you can't make a mistake. You're going to have to play through it. You're not going to get dragged for it. You're not going to be on limited minutes. We need everybody to step up. They're already short. There's no Craig Moller out there. He was that laid out with a sickness. So for Ben Air, we know that's nothing new for Ben Air to step up, but Anzac Rossetto to come in. Matt Kenyon's going to have to be aggressive. Tarangi, Reece Vague, every player has to step up.
Coming straight out of the blocks and taking it inside with some force. 7, the biggest lead of the game for the Taipans, the equal game high. They had that in that second period. Southeast Melbourne got it out to 7. Some movement on their first offensive set. Ben Air gets to the cup. Nice finish.
And he's the one. Alrighty, you talk about trying to be aggressive. Yes, Will Cummings is going to have to, but if you're Cairns, you're thinking that everything's going to go through Mitch Creek. They're going to try and make Mitch Creek the focal point, as they should, but it's everybody else who has to step up and play with confidence to allow Mitch Creek to get going a bit easier.
Here's Miller going straight at Air. Bounces off him, creates some separation, and keeps it alive. And Engen now to Wardenberg. Paul Qualls out there. He's done some nice things already tonight and continues to. Bull Qualls into double digits. And that leads out to 8, a new game high for the Taipans. Let's go courtside, Derek Rucker. Derek, no Tyler Cook to start this second half for the Phoenix.
Unfortunate news for Phoenix fans. It looks like Tyler Cook will miss the rest of this game. Apparently a contusion to the eyeball with some bleeding, and they're going to take him away to get it looked at a little bit closely and not take any risk in this second half to make sure that he's okay. So tough break there for Cook. He really was having an impact in this game, and the Phoenix will have to find out a way to get this game without him.
Thanks, Derek. It's a real shame.
Well, it's just deja vu for Southeast Melbourne. In the last few seasons, it's always one thing after another. They just can't get everybody healthy at the same time, and it's horrific when you think, okay, Alan Williams is still a couple of weeks away, so it's not like you're going to bring someone in to replace him in the short term. That's why they brought in Tyler Cook to replace Alan Williams while he was injured, and again, it's just something they're going to have to find a way to fight through.
Yeah.
Rowdy, you were part of it the last couple of years. It's not easy.
No, it's not. And Gary Brown's still being worked in after a very interrupted pre-season. And look, having dealt with sort of eye problems when I was with the Phoenix and copped a hit to it, it's scary. You know, that's long-term permanent vision, and that's quality of life, let alone a basketball game. So we just hope. It's not a great possession for the Phoenix, but you just hope that they're able to get the right care for him. Everything's going to be okay, and hopefully we see him back on court as soon as possible.
I hope that there's no issues flying for him as well. Just depending on the nature
double.
of that injury.
They've got the road double to play Illawarra next, and to be honest, the way we saw it was flush in the eyeball. It's going to be pretty tough to see whether he does even play that game. And this is going to help. They can cause some turnovers and get out and run, but not turn it over themselves.
It's almost the Shaq Naful style stuff on both ends. Here's Creek in the corner. That one won't go. Big rebound from Quoll and takes a lick from Anzac Rossetto.
You rocked the goggles for a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah, let's not bring that up. We do not have that on clip. Please do not cut to anything like that.
Didn't prepare for it. One game, was it?
No, it was a few weeks, and
really?
It was the worst thing. Just because they fogged up.
How did that come about?
I copped an elbow during a game and sort of split above the left eye, and then had my pupils were dilated differently between the two eyes, so I had a bit of vision problems.
So were the goggles more to stop you getting hit for the cut, or is it more for... Because we're trying to think about Tyler Cook, if he... Whatever is the outcome of this, if he could even suit up potentially for Saturday's game.
His would probably be for the cut. Mine was sort of like a bruise, a problem on the eye. So if I got hit again in the actual eye, it could cause some permanent problems or more problems down the line. So the goggles were just
prescription goggles.
No, they weren't prescription. It was literally, oh gosh, we play tomorrow. I'm going to go down to Bunnings and just pick up some workers' goggles and just protect the eyes. So they were no good. They were fitted eventually, but yeah, was not a fan of them.
So you're saying this is like year 9 chemistry goggles type setup?
It was Bunsen burner and all.
Oh,
yes, no, mine were no good. So. Next time, or hopefully there's no next time, but the Mason Cox type goggles, I think, from the footy of the go, changing lenses as well.
It's an interesting lineup here for Phoenix. So Rosetto's gone out. I know Tyler Cook's not coming back in this game. Mitch Creek's playing the 5. Ruben Tarangi is playing the 4. Incredibly undermanned and undersized, and as we mentioned already, Craig Moller is out, another one who could have slid down to the 4 spot, potentially the 5 if you have to, but right now they are unbelievably small. They're going to be switching a whole lot, and if you're Ruben Tarangi, this is where you take in that full confidence of, I need to be on the attacking mindset offensively. I've got to take some pressure off the likes of Cummings, Creek and Ben Air.
Cut into this lead a little bit, Southeast Melbourne. Won't be doing it like that. Lat Mayan coming off a terrific season in the NBL 1. Mighty Bendigo Braves.
And that's some of the problems with that switching defense. If you haven't practiced it, you've got this new lineup together, there's going to be some miscommunications. Phoenix cannot give up layups to the rim.
That's hard there for Ruben Tarangi. There wasn't a whole lot in that, but when you've got a left-hand big man dribbling away with his right, he's going to come back to shoot that lefty fadeaway, and your hands are already over his hip trying to force him out.
Let's go courtside, Derek Rucker.
In the first half, I teased the fact, guys, that Kansas size and length could be a problem in the second half. Well, obviously, with the injury to Cook and Moeller being unavailable, it's really a problem for Phoenix. But I admire what Mike Kelly's doing. You can't go status quo here. You got to try and change things up, take some risks. Otherwise, you're just going to bleed to death slowly and lose this game by 20. You may as well go out there and try some things.
It's always going to be interesting to see Gary Brown in the back there. Now, we know he's coming back from an injury. He played 13 minutes the other night. He's already played 11 minutes in this game. He's the only one on the bench with his warm-up top on. You expect him to check back in, but he can't play a whole lot. So it's up to these youngsters and who's still out there to try and get the job done.
Nice pass from Creek. Tarangi outside, can't hit. They can't afford him to get injured as well, is the other thing.
Sam Wardenberg, 8 rebounds now.
Big on the glass. Qual from outside. He can't get that one to go. Oh, he's such a great defensive player, Bull Qual, but shoots it well from outside as well. Shot up plenty last year, nearly 5 attempts, shooting at 32% from deep.
That's exactly it, right there from Ruben Tarangi. Yeah, we know he can shoot the 3 ball the way he has been the last few months, but putting the ball on the floor, right there, you see the mismatch with Menenge, got the little shake to make him jump to the left and then had the advantage getting downhill. This is what Mike Kelly wants to see. And there's Gary Brown checking in now, along with Reese Vague.
Neither side in any huge foul trouble at the moment. Mayan's got 3 for the Taipans. He comes out of the game. No one out there at the moment with more than 2. Tarangi knocks down both at the line. So Ruben Tarangi came into the game 2 of 2 at the free throw line. He's 4 of 6 tonight. Beautiful feed from Miller. And a nice finish from AK Gak.
The breakdowns defensively there. When you're trying to stop a team that's on a little bit of momentum run, you just can't have. Guys are going to be playing out of position. There's going to be a lot of scrambling defensively.
AK Gak came to the Cairns Taipans for some more opportunity, and he's certainly getting that.
You've got to get better shot. There was still plenty of time in the shot clock. Gary Brown trying to get himself going, trying to start something, but completely off balance, mid-range pull-up. Probably not the shot they need at this point.
It's just becoming a little bit unruly at the moment for the Phoenix. A little bit of a funk that they dearly love to snap out of. Creek and Brown with a little 2-man game.
Geez, that's smart from Mitch Creek. A little give and go, felt the bump, and as soon as he caught that ball, just threw it at the rim so he could go to the free throw line. a look at the Harvey Norman replay here. Now, we have seen a lot better finishes from Gack. There is no reason why he couldn't time that better and give us a little bit. Look at this, the speed of it. And as soon as he felt that bump from Gack, just threw it at the rim. He wasn't even trying to make it.
Okay, Gack's third foul as well. Quick misses at the line. Already had burgers, courtesy of Ruben Tarangi earlier tonight. Mitch Krieger, 73% field goal or free throw shooter. 73% field goal shooter would be all right. I think most players would take that.
Very happy with that.
He's locked in a battle with Tom Abercrombie in that sort of leading scorers of all time. They're third and fourth on the list, and there was only 4 points between them coming into this round. In the all-time scoring list among active players. Klintman to Wardenberg. Wardenberg outside. Miller, the little man, just fights his way inside.
Look, I know a smaller stats job. I'm not sure we can ever put him in the little man category. Man is a beast.
He certainly doesn't lack for fight and for strength. And it's an 11-point Cairns Taipans lead. It is a game high. And look at Patrick Miller go to work. Taking him to the weight room, Rowdy.
No, he doesn't need to go. Just naturally built that way. It's just unfair. But that's one thing they can't do. They give, you know, a contested three. We've got to Phoenix have to finish off possession. That's the second time I've done it.
You're allowed to do it.
I can't help it.
Retired last year. You retired yesterday.
I retired, yeah, basically last week. But those are the things. It's in my head. Phoenix cannot give up offensive.
Snooze timeout for Mike Kelly. Here's what he's got to work with in terms of a roster this season. So at the moment, there's no Alan Williams out there. There's no Tyler Cook out there either. There's no Gorjok Gack out there either. Craig Moller's not there. Will Cummings has gone down with an injury in this game. Gary Brown's just coming back from an injury. It's
the story of their life, to be honest. You look at the last couple of years, every time things were going well, someone got hurt, and then they always had a period every season where they had multiple key players hurt. But we forgot about Gorjok Gack because he's been out from the start of the season. When Alan Williams went out, and then they brought in Tyler Cook. But I was so high on what Gorjok Gack, still am on what he can do this season and beyond. He had showed tremendous upside in the Brisbane Bullets last year, expected more opportunity, and he's been injured. We haven't seen him in the preseason either, so they're completely up against it. And this is probably new to Mike Kelly, but for a lot of the returning Southeast Melbourne people, for Tommy Creer, they've been thinking, how does this keep happening?
Not again. That's what I think, not again. But this is a game to build character. This is chips are down, players missing.
If it's going to happen, you rather it early in the season so that you get the confidence in the players to know if it does happen again or we get players in foul trouble in the business stage of the year, we can step up and get the job done. And it's a great opportunity for a guy like Ruben Tarangi, who's coming in off the World Cup, and everybody's saying, okay, is he going to recapture that form that we saw probably 3 or 4 years ago? We haven't seen Ruben Tarangi in that kind of aggressive mindset. We're starting to see little glimpses of it here.
Pass inside from Miller's deflected away. Chance for the Phoenix on the offensive end. Rossetto, Cummings, Tarangi, Brown and Vague out there at the moment. Gary Brown gets to the step back. Tarangi from way downtown. That won't go. Antonio pulls down the rebound. He's there with Miller, Wardenberg, Klintman and Qual. Bobby Klintman's got 10 points, 5 rebounds, an assist and a couple of steals. And he's going to work here. Drawing the contact inside. Anzac Rossetto. Klintman will go to the line. Probably some extended run for Rossetto with the dearth of Southeast Melbourne bigs. It's a jet moment.
And that's just... He defended that pretty well until the last minute where he wanted to have a swipe at it. If you've got Bobby Klintman driving away from the hoop and fading away, if he makes that, you have to just shake his hand and say it's a tough hit. You've done your job. You've forced him away from the rim. You've making him take a tough jumper, fading away. That's all you can do.
Tell us a little bit about Anzac Rossetto.
He's an incredible human being. He's a fan favourite from his attitude, his energy that he brings, just by being on the bench each game. Very humble, but hungry. He's always trying to learn. He carries a notebook around. He takes notes with what he's doing. He reads books. He's just a kid that really wants to learn and get better. And opportunities like this are going to be great for him. He's going to find his feet pretty quickly if he gets extended runs like this, and unfortunately with the injuries, looks like he will. So just being able to finish around the basket is sort of that next step at this next level, being able to play against the bigger bodies.
Almost the oracle right there, nearly talked that into existence.
7 appearances for Anzac Rossetto last year, the big fella out of South Auckland. Oh, beautiful move from Miller, putting them in the spin cycle.
He's nasty. Pat Miller, he's an exciting prospect.
Game high 12-point lead. Miller's got 16. He's stuffing the stat sheet.
That's right, he said. That's not the shot they need, especially when you're undermanned and you've got to get the ball through your hands and you've got to make the defense shift. Right now you're playing into the defense's hands by just shooting it so quickly and poorly.
Yeah, and Phoenix only have 5 assists midway through the third quarter or late in the third quarter. It's an incredibly low number for a team missing players that should be using ball movement to create open shots, not trying to break things down one-on-one and do it themselves.
And that was a note that I had coming into this game. Out of round 1, they averaged the lowest assists across the competition, 11 through their 2 games. And you've got teams that are putting up 20+. The ball's got to shift. The ball's got to find the open man, especially when the defense doesn't have to work. And you can't take those quick shots against a team like Cairns. There's a couple of teams that play super fast. I'm talking the likes of the Kings as well. If you turn the ball over and take quick shots, you're basically gifting them a transition bucket.
Yeah, and Kansas previous possession got an open 3 because they attacked the middle, they made the defense rotate, forced down another open shot just by ball movement. These are the shots that you want in an offense, especially down players.
This is turning into a real mess.
Well, you see Mike Kelly there, he was scratching his head because he's looking and trying to say to someone who's rotating the wrong way. And then I think he caught himself realising that this is a 5 that he wouldn't expect to be on the floor right now. So they probably haven't practiced together a whole lot. They haven't understood the rotations a whole lot. So Zetto trying to get one to go, and he finally gets one to go.
Nice finish. He's only got 12 points in his NBL career. He got to the little baby hook.
He's done enough for Adam Ford to call a quick timeout.
Try and slow down Anzac Rossetto, rolling across the lane. Sam Wardenberg at one end and Anzac Rossetto at the other, so a couple of Kiwi big men going to work in different ways. And it is a 13-point game at 62-49. The Taipans well and truly in control at the snooze timeout as we tick down to 2 minutes remaining in this third period. Mike Kelly's got his work cut out at the moment. Big weekend in round 2 of the Hungry Jacks NBL, of course. Brisbane too good for New Zealand earlier tonight. Tomorrow, Tassie and Sydney. Oh, the Jack Jumpers back at home for the first time. We saw them firsthand last week over in the West Pete, and they narrowly went down. That man was brilliant though, Milton Doyle.
They are expecting a bigger season opener than they've ever had. I mean, they've only had 2, but they've both been exceptional, and I am stoked to see how that game turns out. A bit of a rivalry already there, Sydney and Tasmania on the Championship Series.
And then Perth and Adelaide in the late fixture over in the West. The Wildcats with a mixed weekend to start, and the 36ers have got some ground to make up.
Jeez, it's a tough road trip for the Adelaide 36ers. Firstly, it's a tough road trip for anyone who has to do what they're doing. Going over to Perth after they just lost. I know the scoreboard flattered them in the end against the Phoenix, but they got handed to in the second half. You've got an angry Perth team in front of their home fans, and then you've got to travel to Sydney. And Kudos Spain can play against the Sydney Kings, 2-time champs. So, not ideal. But if you talk about character building, that's where that can be done.
You might be on that red eye up the front of the plane like you were last week, Pete. Like me and Junior Bedouin back in row 50. Look at Bull Qual putting the moves on to Clintman in the corner. And that's going to be a foul on Reece Vague. Sam Menenga had good rebounding position. And good luck trying to move Sam Menenga. Need a forklift or 2 to shift the big Kiwi. Another who was a late comer to the sport. Really only started focusing on basketball as a 14-year-old.
It's a big decision to forgo your senior year in college when you've had the success. You had a lot of success at Davidson and decided to go pro and not go back. And college is one of the greatest times of your life, and especially when you're having success and doing it all the right way. And chose that the NBL was the perfect opportunity for him to take the next step in his career.
Speaks volumes of where the NBL's at and the pathway that it now is to the NBA. Obviously, that's most players' goals and ambitions to get to that level, but it's great for the NBL that these talented local-ish, we'll call it the Kiwis local, right? Bringing this local talent back to the NBL.
And we talk about the next stars, which we should. There's 8 incredibly talented next stars, but we forget guys like Sam Menenga chose not to go back to college, and there is. But Taron Armstrong, when we see him, decided not to go back after 2 years at Cal Baptist, and Ben Henschel, another one. So there's a lot of
Galloway. Alex Tui was going to go to Gonzaga, and that's not a small school.
No, exactly right. So it does speak volumes. But Taron Armstrong's the one I want to see in action for the Cairns Taipans. I think everybody does. And we'll get to it when he does play, but the way Adam Ford found out about how he wanted to recruit him, how he was even recruitable. Let's forget, he'd done his sophomore year at Cal Baptist, and everyone thought that he was going to either transfer up into a bigger school or maybe stay put, and he did a lot of watching of YouTube videos and ended up stumbling upon something that his brother said, which made him pick up the phone and found out that he was thinking about being available and going pro, and then next minute he's offering him a chance to start his professional career. So I think all the coaches out there, it's not just that easy. A lot of watching YouTube.
Good defense from Menenga, got a hand in and knock it away from Mitch Creek.
But he's the one. A lot of comparisons to Josh Giddey. The way they play, the court vision is exceptional. We saw a bit in the blitz.
And the pace and the tempo that he plays with. Taron Armstrong too. He plays like a veteran. That's what Adam Ford said. He doesn't play like a 20-year-old.
He's put on a lot of size in the first 2 years at school as well. So he's coming in and body's already nicely ready for turning a professional.
Jonah Antonio into the 15-point lead, 80%. Free throw shooter as he misses the second.
Antonio, the 3 fouls. Zato's got 3 fouls. There are a couple of players down. Well, Mike Kelly and Sam McKinnon, assistant coach, putting a jersey on.
Creek rumbles down the lane, absorbs some contact. He's fouled and he's trying to fire his team up.
It's a simple game, Rowdy. Just a little pick and roll. And we talked about them struggling to move the ball in the assist numbers, but this is, Mitch Creek set a great screen, was open on the roll. Gary Brown found him, and let your star player go and finish.
Just let the ball sing, let it move, let it get through hands, let it work for you. And Creek downhill, attacking the rim. I don't think there's too many players better at the league at being able to finish through contact. Not necessarily always dunking, but being able to draw contact, finish, get the M1, and hopefully that's a spark for the Phoenix.
Yeah, they're not out of it by any means. These are the kind of plays, and this is the way they're going to have to play defensively. When they're undersized, get up full court, just kind of be funky with it defensively, and then everybody has to scramble. Just like that.
Brown got a hand in there on Clinton. Menenga swings it outside. Down to red numbers on the shot clock for Bulkwall to operate. Pulls up, can't connect. Gary Brown rips it down. There's about half a second between the shot and game clock. 66-54. Lead's been as big as 16 in this frame. And the Phoenix are trying to fight their way back in enemy territory. How can they finish this third term? Gary Brown does it in style. Brown from downtown energizes the Phoenix going into three-quarter time. There is still hope. They trail the Taipans by 9.
Dump that ball. What price do you think it is? Oh, it's $10. Shows your dribbling technique. You see yourself. Oh, there you go. You want yourself $50 voucher. $50 gift card. Thanks to Kmart. What's the price? Make sure you check out the full range at your local Kmart. Low prices for life.
Nine-point ball game as we turn for home in the Snake Pit. Mike Kelly's had his worries with some injury concerns for the Phoenix. Patrick Miller's gone to work for the Taipans. Bobby Clintman's showed out as well. And a late three for Southeast Melbourne has kept them in the ball game as we turn for home. 66-57. Joel Peterson, Ryan Brockhoff, Pete Hawley with you. Great to have you with us in the Hungry Jacks NBL second leg of our Thursday night doubleheader. Let's go courtside to former NBL MVP Derek Rucker.
Well, Coach Adam Ford was clear about what he wanted. He needed some heat on Gary Brown Jr. as he raises up. Not enough heat. Three ball Brown Jr. Phoenix are back in the game. Ford then came over to me personally and said, Derek, it'd be nice if we could make something free throws.
Okay. Say no more. That's a word for about 3 hours from now, Ruck, I believe you're trying to say.
Hopefully Derek can do something about that here. I'm not sure what influence Ruck's got, but if anyone can exert some, it'll be our man Derek Rucker.
Well, he's right. They're 13 of 21 from the free throw line. They're 3 points, 62% as Gary Brown tries to stay hot. Well defended.
Inside to Foxwell, up among the trees, couldn't hit. Back to a 6-point ball game.
Just got to stay the course, just grind it out. To the Phoenix.
The ball won't go.
And this is hard. This is hard for the Taipans because they like to play that quick. And normally you'd say any other team, that's a bad shot, but that's the way Adam Ford has preached. Okay, you get a stop, we get a long rebound. If you run the lanes hard enough and get an open look, even if it's in transition, you can tee that off. When you're playing against a team that's undermanned, undersized, it's just kind of a game where you're thinking, we need to execute in the half court. If we slow down, make a couple of passes, which we saw in the third quarter, Rowdy, you're going to get wide open layups.
Yeah, or attack mismatches with the size inside. That's Gary Brown. Oh, that was he almost caught fire. That almost caught fire on that one, but Phoenix down 6, all the momentum at the moment, and this will be good for Cairns now. Try and run a set. Find the shot, find the mismatch they're looking for, and why not just have Pat Miller put his shoulder down and get to the hoop.
Got the experience of Miller. So much international basketball. Brings so much to this Taipans team that he's still young, needs a bit of direction, needs a steadying influence. Mike Kelly's going to get an early timeout in. 66-60, 8:27 remaining. So Mike Kelly wants to talk it over early with his team.
He may be challenging it. JB, he's having a chat with Vaughn Mayberry, and I don't know if he did in the end. Might be a luxury of, I think he wanted to challenge it, then he had a chat with Vaughn and said, what are we looking at? They are challenging it. There we go. Pushing foul on Tarangi is what they're going to challenge. What do you think, Rowdy? He does look like he gives him a little bit of extra with the hip thrust, but there's not a whole lot in it. Because Patrick Miller definitely engages
and sells a little bit. It's I don't know. I never get these ones right. I never get these ones right.
So 6-point ball game. We've got a coach's challenge on the pushing foul from Ruben Tarangi on Patrick Miller.
Yeah, it's a close one. It's tough. You see, Miller definitely initiates the contact going into Tarangi, but from the broadcast view, from the other side, you kind of see Tarangi leading his hips in. That's what the foul was called for, but jeepers, this one right here. So Miller's obviously got the strength. He initiates that contact, but that move from Tarangi turning sideways might hurt him, but there's not a heap in that.
It's a tough one, and usually stay out of this because I always make the wrong call on this, but it's one of those 50-50s. Yes, he initiates contact, but if you look at contact like that during the course of the game, everyone's
successful. The call on number 7 is cancelled. We have a jump ball in the centre circle.
There we go. No, here, straight from Vaughan Mabry right there. By the way, I love that little cheeky addition to the broadcast. Mabry looking straight down the barrel, and that's why the coach challenge there. Successful. We're going to have a jump ball. You hear Vaughan Mabry saying, because of the way that it was and successful at that moment, against a jump ball, then anybody can take it.
That doesn't have the Phoenix at the moment. Yeah, true. No size. At least keeps Ruben out. I think that was going to be his 4th foul, so at least that saves him a foul.
And I like that decision to overturn, because as I said, you could kind of see Tarangi was moving ever so slightly, but that contact was 100% initiated from Patrick Miller. And I think Mike Kelly's probably thinking, the way Patrick Miller fell backwards, look at the size of it. There's just no way that was possible from that little hit from Tarangi. And Mike Kelly is saying, why do they not get the ball back? But the way that is the coach challenge, it is a jump ball.
So Mitch Creek up against Sam Wardenberg. Probably not what Mitch Creek needed with a minute and a half left. Mike Kelly's a little bit frustrated with how this is unfolding, but his team's done a good job out of 3/4 time. (66-60). Earlier tonight, Brisbane getting the job done over New Zealand to stay perfect on the young season.
Here we go. So we're redoing the jump ball, and I'm glad that Chris pulled this up. You can't just bring Gack into the jump ball over Wardenberg. So Vaughan confusion. So Vaughan Mabry's saying that he can jump, which in the end it doesn't matter, but staggering if there is a little mistake that you can bring in a guy with a massive wingspan and more athletic.
Didn't do a lot in the end. It was strange. Here's Kenyon getting inside. A little bit of contact on the way through.
We've had a bit of everything tonight, haven't we? It's been entertaining.
There's been some highlight plays, some less than highlight plays. A couple of injury worries for the Phoenix as well. Will Cummings has returned to the court, but no more Tyler Cook, as Derek told us earlier, with an eye injury. So that is a concern with another game to come this weekend. Of course, the Phoenix are back in action on Saturday night in Wollongong. Brisbane hosting Cairns on Saturday night. Tomorrow's doubleheader, Tassie and Sydney, Perth and Adelaide.
And we got a 4-point game. It's incredible how it's turned in just a short span of time for Phoenix. Obviously, Gary Brown hitting a couple of clutch threes at either side of the 3/4 time break, but Cairns just look out of rhythm.
It was that last 90 seconds of the 3rd quarter, not just that Gary Brown buzzer beater, but defensively, have a look. Everybody's heads on a swivel, everybody's switching, and then in the end it doesn't matter because Paul Calder says, this is the new me. I'm an offensive threat. 12 points now, 5 of 14 from the field for Paul Qual.
He hasn't shot the ball from outside, one of 8 for threes, but he's aggressive. Got the mindset that any shot is a good shot at the moment, and he's at least making plays happen and using his size and strength on those mismatches. They've been doing it a lot tonight, and they've kind of got away from it, and they've lost that rhythm and flow offensively. So when they get bogged down the half court, look at those mismatches, attack the smaller guards the Phoenix have.
35-26, the rebound count in favour of the Taipans. They're already going to be tough to do with the big outs already, and then you add Tyler Cook to that, and they've been hammered on the offensive glass as well. 9 extra possessions for Cairns.
It's been a big reason that they've had control for a lot of this second half. Get the rebound there as well to the Taipans. Miller, May and Wardenberg, Clinton and Qual out there at the moment.
Phoenix have to set a double here.
Going back to it. Worked one time. See how they...
Qual. It's going straight at Gary Brown. Good defense from Brown. Miller comes up with a loose ball though. Wardenberg wants it outside. Shot fake. Fires. Well, he did beat the shot clock, but he didn't connect with the iron.
Really good awareness from Mitch Creek there. Normally you'd expect him to try and contest and stay down. He knew the shot clock was running down, so by him flying by him, and Wardenberg had to rush that.
They're junking it up. You got to send doubles. You got to fly around. You got to cause indecision from Cairns Taipans offensively. That's how they're going to stay in this game with their undersized lineup.
Foxwell now going inside, trying to get it go high off the glass. The Snakes will get another look at it. Mayan sizing things up. Rowdy told us Paul Quall hasn't shot it well so far tonight. Beautiful pass from Wardenberg. The wraparound finds Miller.
He's going to dunk one. I swear he's got that.
I don't know if he's got it in him. I said that about Jalen Adams a couple of years ago and he proved everybody wrong.
Saw it a couple of times last year from Sam Wardenberg. We know that Miller is just there in reserve and he's keeping it there at the moment. Nice finish from Creek.
Great patience of the team. You saw the ball. It didn't look like they were on the same page, but everybody kept moving. The ball kept moving, and in the end, Mitch Creek got downhill for an easy layup.
20-piece for Mitch Creek now on 7 of 11 shooting. 7 rebounds as well.
The weatherman. Is that what we dubbed him out?
The weatherman, Bobby Clipman. He just loves the weather.
15 points now to go. It's 7 rebounds, a couple of steals, a block. Having himself a breakout game here in round 2.
From Malmo to far north Queensland. He's an exciting prospect. 8-point lead to the Snakes. Well inside, and Clipman says, He's really showing out, Bobby Clipman. 15 points, 7 rebounds, couple of steals, and a couple of big blocks.
He's been terrific.
Snakes fans are going to love watching him. Bit of confusion out there at the moment with rotations.
Yeah, Finney's trying to sneak 6 on the court to help him out in this final quarter.
He can get away with it, good luck. It's an unusual tactic, that's for sure.
Oh, there's no awareness of the shot clock there from Ben Eyre at Reese Valley. Then that can't happen. They've done well to get back into this game. I know Clipman just hit that 3 ball, but
just had a stoppage in play as well.
It just cannot happen with that lack of awareness.
Mayan inside, Vague with some good defense. Wardenberg just chucks it at the apparatus. Phoenix will work on offense. Tarangi tees it up.
Sam Wardenberg's been a monster on the glass. 12 rebounds. He's got 4 assists as well. 6 points, 3 blocks.
5 double-doubles last year, Sam Wardenberg. Quite in that territory points-wise tonight. Miller gets inside, draws the contact.
It's almost impossible to guard. If you see how quickly and how far he throws that ball out and then trusts his speed to go and catch it, it's not about just breaking down with the crossovers. Literally just gets a mismatch that he likes. Look at that, 25 and 6, he's filling it up, but just throws it out and says, I'm going to catch up with it.
So that's a 5th foul on Ruben Tarangi. So he's another that's now out of that rotation for Mike Kelly. So no Tyler Cook out there. Craig Moller was a late withdrawal.
I'm not sure if it is. Put that on ours, but he's still out there.
Did they forget to take it off?
They might have not taken off his
challenge
5th foul earlier. Yeah, so he had 4 when the challenge came up.
Exactly right. So he's got 4 now. Still got to play with the same aggression.
Minutes, yeah.
Shouthalls, 10-point lead the way of the Snakes. Just over halfway gone in this final period. That is a situation that Ruben Tarangi needs to try and avoid, because that's the last thing that Mike Kelly needs, is that he loses another player through fouling out. $75-65. Great to have you with us. Thursday night hoops in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Round 2 action. Brisbane too good for New Zealand earlier tonight. Big doubleheader coming your way tomorrow. Tassie and Sydney before Perth and Adelaide. And Will Cummings trying to cut back into things here. Very good free throw shooter. Such an accomplished player across the world of basketball. Experience vital at moments like this.
Game's not over, one stop at a time. Phoenix has done well to get within a couple at different points in this second half. They've just got to lock in. They're switching everything as we expect with the lineups they have. It's all about once they get the mismatch, how do they help each other?
Windman at the top of the key, inside to Wardenberg. Nice pass to Mayen.
Jeez, that's great defense. That is great team defense from the Phoenix. Ben Air was fighting down low, but everyone had his back. Forced the 3-second violation. And if you're Sam Wardenberg, you've done the work to get the ball and spin baseline, you've got to go up right there. So right there, that's got to go up. You've got to finish that. Reese Vega was coming across, but he wasn't going to block you with the rim. He was a little bit late. That's got to be a layup.
Yeah, no shot blockers on the floor for the Phoenix. He's the biggest, most athletic player out there. Got to finish strong.
It's the clock issue at the moment, so both coaches will get a chance to have a chat to their charges. What do you reckon the message from Mike Kelly would be at this sort of pseudo timeout, Rowdy?
Oh, it'd be some sort of offensive play. Let's get this for most likely Creek. Let's get an easy bucket. Let's get reset on defense. Another stop.
They're only taking 18 threes, the Phoenix. 7 of 18. Tarangi is 1 of 6. Gary Brown's hit 3 of 5. Creek 1 of 3, and that's about it. Ben Air just 1 3 attempted.
It was much the way they played last year too, the Phoenix. They were 10th in three-point attempters a game, 26.5. 9th in three-point rate, so the percentage of their field goals overall.
Can't get much better look than that.
They needed to go.
8 rebounds now for Klintman.
He's had a really good night, here's Bobby Klintman. So is this man. Miller's got 22 points. He's out there with Mayen, Wardenberg, Klintman and Qual. Cummings, Tarangi, Air, Vague, Creek out there for Southeast Melbourne. He gets to the mid-range again and can't hit. And the door remains open for the Phoenix. Tarangi with the touch pass. Cummings sees it all open up in front of him.
Good patience. Will Cummings, and defensively, talking about Cairns slowing it down, trying to get through a set. They can get a better shot than what Pat Miller just drew up. That's good.
Wardenberg just chucked that one at the rim. Mitch Creek in transition. Not quite. Rebound number 9 for Klintman. Goes behind the back. Tries to take it all the way. And it's an offensive foul.
Saw that one coming from a bit way out from... Oh, look at this. Ruben Tarangi was saying this since 2022. That was an easy call in the end. Did all the hard work. He doesn't like it.
Basketball player that doesn't like the foul called on him.
Never heard of it.
That's a first.
Now this is a chance for the Phoenix to just get a really good offensive look. That 3 from Mitch Creek's not bad, considering the circumstances. But they are right in this.
Mitch Creek up to 30 and a bit minutes now. Backs his way on Klintman. Klintman with some good defense again. Three blocks for Bobby Klintman. Miller inside, across the lane. And the hit. Lat Mayen in the corner. The main man sinks one from downtown.
That hurts. You got to, with Pat Miller, you've got to keep him off his right hand. He's so strong and so quick. Driving to his right. You got to try and keep him off his right. Don't force him that way. They've opened up for him a few times, and he's able to break brothers and get open shots.
Here's Gary Brown to the step back.
He loves to get to that step back, Gary Brown, but I think he had a layup there. He had the defense beat. Oh, so I'm still stuck on the main man. Does that just roll off the tongue, JP, or is that something in your notes?
I've got a lot of notes, Pete.
Don't give away
that one
secrets.
Was not in there.
Don't give away secrets.
It's Bill Palachek situational basketball type stuff. Miller inside, and here he is again. Lat Mayen playing some big minutes down the stretch. Timeout, Southeast Melbourne. He earned Adam Ford's trust at the back end of last year. He played some big minutes in that playoff series against the Kings, and on the Harvey Norman replays, having a big impact here.
Well, it's been Lat Mayen on the receiving end, but it's been Pat Miller. He has really controlled this game from the jump. He's still got 4 turnovers, but he's going to have the ball in his hands an awful lot. He's played 34 minutes, and without Taron Armstrong, that's expected. 22 points for Pat Miller, 8 assists, 5 rebounds. He's been everywhere, and then Lat Mayen just getting in the right spot at the right time. Good things happen. You got a point guard of Miller's caliber.
So 80 to 69, 2 minutes 21 remaining. A lot that needs to go right for the Phoenix from here.
Yeah, it's going to be tough now. Two penetrations to Pat's right hand, being able to create for others. Phoenix are in a bit of a hole now, but nothing to lose. 2 minutes 20, 11 points. Stranger things have happened here in the NBL.
Absolutely, they have. They need a lot to break their way from here, the Phoenix. They're 1-1 on the season. They've got a date with Illawarra on Saturday night. Cairns have got a trip to Brisbane. They'd love to head to that 1-1 to face the 2-0 Bullets.
Sunshine Stoush.
Absolutely. Won't that be a really exciting encounter? Some young talent, some experienced talent here as well. So, 11-point game, 2:21 remaining. Derek Rucker, courtside. What were the messages in the huddles there?
Well, obviously the Taipans are enthused. They're back together. They're feeling tight. I couldn't really listen to what Abcor was saying, but the body language is very strong. As another block shot on this end, the Taipans defense has really come to the party in this fourth quarter. But wow, do we have a matchup Saturday night down at Nissan Arena.
7 blocks between them, 4 for Wardenberg after that one.
Lindman thought about the 3. Takes it inside. Mayen's underneath. He gets blocked. Loose ball is collected by Cummings. All the way back the other way. Can't get it to go, and Clinton just rips the rebound off Kenyon. He's got a double-double.
First career double-double for the next star, Bobby Clinton. What a breakout game.
Been exciting to watch the weatherman.
I'd like to see that next mock draft.
Mayen from the corner to finish it.
Why not?
14-point game. Lat Mayen's had a great night for Adam Ford. And a big last quarter. Did some great things for the Bendigo Braves in the off-season. Kenyon back the other way. Just over a minute remaining. Benair trying to break it down against his former team. And he just commits a frustration foul on Miller.
Yeah, that could be looked at potentially for an upgrade, because that's exactly what it was, a frustration foul in transition. Miller's been enormous. But Bobby Clinton just quietly, 15 and 11 to go with 3 blocks.
Yes. The transition, unnecessary contact.
Okay. Replay center, did you get all that?
Now having a look at this as a potential upgrade for an unsportsmanlike, and I tell you what,
it's not a heap of contact, but there's no attack. There's no
play on the ball.
And
you know, when you hurt yourself, after you've turned it over, they know it's frustration. And when you put your hands straight up, you're intentionally trying to foul. So they are looking at this, and I don't like to say anything safely say, but I would say this will probably get upgraded to an unsportsmanlike foul.
Yeah. Ben has to be frustrated. Cairns have done a great job of limiting him, taking away his 3-pointers, not letting him get involved in the game, letting him build any momentum, playing with any emotion. He's got to be frustrated with his first trip back to Cairns.
Has been upgraded, as we thought, to an unsportsmanlike. But you're right, just 2 points, 5 field goal attempts for Benair, and he was 5 of 6 from 3 over round 1. So you're right, it's not the Benair that we saw early on. And it's going to be a bit of an adjustment for him too once Gary Brown comes back. And the luxury of it is, if Gary Brown does miss time down the track, we can throw him in and know that he's going to play with confidence. And there is to Jim McCall, soon to be Father McCall. And this is good for the Taipans. They have one more game before they've got those NBA experiences at a unique time of the season. But what it will do is help this young team bond together throughout a trip. No doubt they'll be better for it.
Time on the road to spend together. And what an experience getting to play a couple of NBA teams, Bobby Quintman in particular. So they play Washington on the 11th of October, and then they've got Toronto on the 16th of the Taipans. It'll be great to see them go around air. Hands a late 3. He's done plenty of that in this building. Alex Madronya getting some run for the Taipans, so too Lockie Anderson. Rossetto back out there at the moment for the Phoenix with Kenyon Air, Vague and Foxwell. I mean, it's going to be such a tough task for them to back up, coming off the injuries and how on-demand they are, the Phoenix, going into Wollongong on Saturday night, Rowdy.
Yeah, hopefully we get an update on how Cook's doing and how his injury is and what that kind of looks like. But as Ben hits another one, I sort of say he's frustrated, but he seems to be taking out that frustration, and Phoenix are now playing with a little bit more urgency and intensity, a little bit too little too late, but at least for them, take something out of this game, build towards the game in Illawarra, and that's, look, it's going to be a tough challenge. It's not an easy game. The parity in this league is so close that you can't drop games at any point.
So, tell you what, Adam Ford has called a timeout here with the game pretty sewn up, let's say.
Not thrilled.
So Bobby Clipman's turned it over, been fouled out of the game. That's 5 fouls. Exceptional game for Bobby Clipman. 15, 11, and 3 blocks.
He really has done a bit of everything.
But that timeout that you heard Adam Ford just basically ripping him, saying, this is not how we like to end, this is not the way we like to play. We talked about him recruiting, and every single player that wears a jersey, he expects them to play the same type of way, and they haven't done that in the last 40 seconds. That's why he's called a timeout.
Hey, one man who has stepped in a big way is Lat Mayan for Adam Ford's team. He's been a real contributor, Rowdy, today, and a couple of big shots down the stretch.
Yeah, not just today. In the first game of the season as well, and through the pre-season, he's just a steady contributor for him. He's able to shoot the three, knows how to move off the ball, and tonight he's been able to be on the receiving end of some of Pat Miller's drives and some easy looks for him.
Had a great pre-season with the Blitz, and again, another one who has had that year in the factory that Adam Ford likes to call it, and Adam Ford is high on the kid, and so it should be. The place isn't for everyone, and Adam Ford talks very highly of that. He says he recruits specific people for what he's trying to build. Not everybody responds the same way, and we spoke off the top that Josh Roberts was going to be playing. They tricked us, they suited him up, but he hasn't hit the floor, which I don't expect because they are going to head off pretty soon.
Matt Mayan, of course, doing some really good things for the mighty Bendigo Braves in the NBL 1 competition. So too, Lou Preisenberg, the TP for the Phoenix on the other side of things tonight. They're going to get an opening win at home here, the Taipans. Jonah Antonio finishes it off in style. They scored 87 in round 1, and it wasn't enough, the Snakes. 87 will be more than enough here in round 2.
Adam Ford is irate. Cannot believe that let them go on this little run, and it's been the Ben Air, and it would be a little bit about that, no doubt. Ben Air, 11 points, and Adam Ford, you can hear him screaming. He was the one that he had to let Ben Air go so he could chase Taron Armstrong. So
need to get the ball in here, and they do. Into Anderson and now to Madronya. And the Snakes bounce back from an opening round loss. They return home and run out winners over the Phoenix, 87-80, to send up an exciting Sunshine Stoush on Saturday against the Brisbane Bullets. While Southeast Melbourne will be counting the cost of a loss and injuries as they head into a Saturday encounter with Illawarra. The Taipans controlled that for much of that second half, Rowdy and Pete, and they were too good in the hole.
yeah, they were. And again, the injuries, I mean, it's, you don't like to just come up with excuses, but it was clear that the Phoenix already down. Their bench was thin before the game started and are really battling against it, but our Foot Locker player of the game maybe could have been Bobby Clipman, but this man, Patrick Miller, 23, 6 and 8, controlled the game from the jump. Only had 5 turnovers in the end, but high usage, you're going to expect that. And Rowdy, one of your old teammates, is looking the goods ahead of NBL 24.
Yeah, he started the season really well, and it's going to be interesting when Taj comes back and the dynamic, and there's quite a few teams that have some players missing, but they're looking strong, and their style of play holds up in this league, as we're seeing. They get similar type players. They run and gun. They're athletic. They can switch and defend multiple positions. It's going to be an exciting season for the Taipans.
Matt Mayan addressing them. He really is the main man tonight for the Cairns Taipans. He gets a 1-1 on this young NBL 24 campaign. Running out winners against the Southeast Melbourne tonight, 87-80. More from the Snake Pit next. Cairns next Bobby Clintman. He had a big night, a big part of a 7-point win for the Taipans. They scored 87 against New Zealand last week in a loss. They score 87 tonight against the Phoenix in a win. 87 to 80, they get it done. He had a double-double. Black Main was big as well for the Snakes. And Adam